Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the MG4 electrical page. This is a part one of a three-part thing that I'm doing, and I want to talk about the tools that you'll need if you are interested in becoming an electrician, especially for you first-year apprentice, what you'll need to just get started. I wish I had something like this. So it's so many tools, so many different sets of tools. You don't know what you need, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for you. So I'm going to do three parts. The first part will be hand tools. The second part will be your electrical testers and all type of testers. Your electrical equipment is what I call it. And then the third one will be your drills. I got a few drills here. What drills do you need just to get started? I'm not talking about for you masters. I'm not talking about for you journeymen. I'm talking about the guys that's coming in fresh. You're doing residential. You're doing your first year apprentice commercial electrician, and you want to know exactly what you need to get started. So I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible, but I'm going to do hand tools first. If I were you coming into a residential side, it was a little different than coming into a commercial side. In the commercial side, I needed a little more, so I'm kind of rounding it off. In residential, I had to have my screwdrivers, and a lot of these things, I'm a big Klein fan, so a lot of these things you can get in sets. So you can get a set of screwdrivers, a set of drivers, nut drivers, and you go to your local Home Depot and pick you up a set. But there's certain screwdrivers that you must have. There are certain ones that just come with the set that is good to have, but it's not really necessary. But I'll say this, you need to set yourself a tool allowance. So for all you new guys, what you need to do, the rule of thumb is if you have to borrow it twice, you need to buy it. So if you borrow it, you buy it. But the way you do it, you try to get yourself a set first. And once you get a set, you put maybe $20 a checkup. And that way, when you want to go purchase a new tool or you see something better than what you have, you already have that money piling up, because you'll normally be able to get a nice hand tool for about $20. You know, $20 to $30. Some things are less than screwdrivers and things like that. But a good pair of like Linemen's or Klein's, a good pair of diagonal cutters, about $21, $22, $26, $30, depending on what you want. So I'm going to get started because I don't want to be here too long. But remember, this is just to get started. So to get started, the first thing that I would suggest is a good pair. These are diagonal cutters. And as you can see, they have this kind of slope to them. But you're going to use these cutting a bunch of wire. I use these on MC. I know a lot of people use their Linemen's on MC. I like to cut, not the whole thing. I like to cut it in portions. So I'll use these 2 snips and I'm through it. What I really like about these in residential, if you're removing staples out of the Romex, if you catch the staple at the end and you just lay this on the wood and you push back slightly, they have an angle on them. It'll pull whatever you want to pull right out the wall. So number one, you're going to be cutting a lot of wire. Stranded wire, solid wire, Romex, whatever it is. These are great to have. You have to get you a pair of these. And again, they have sets where you can get your screwdrivers, you can get your diagonal cutters, and you can get your Linemen's in one set. So number one on my list will be a good pair of diagonal cutters. These are 9-inch iron mill worker cutters. So these are not I guess they have pairs for electricians, but you can see the little curve on these, and it should be a picture somewhere right here, over here, or over here. But I got these off Amazon. These are 9-inch. I like bigger tools, and they have this little grip here on the edge so you can get leverage. So whenever I'm working in the box, and I really don't like sticking metal into a box, but if it's something, I like to have some distance on it so I can get some leverage. So these are 9-inch iron worker diagonal cutters. So that's number one. Okay, number two, you have to get you a good pair of Linemen Pliers. These are also 9-inch Linemen Pliers. If you can see these things are beat up. These are good for twisting your wire together. And they have this side cutter here that's heavy duty, so you can cut heavy duty wire. You can cut MC, you can cut Romex, you can cut number 6, number 2, whatever it is, you can cut them. And some of these, they have the crimper here. So if you're doing residential and you're crimping your grounds, make sure that you get you a pair with the crimper in it. And some of these now, they even come with strippers in them, but it's too much for me. But I mainly use these to twist my wire together before I put my wire nuts on. So that's number 2. Number 2 would be Linemen Pliers. You need a pair of Linemen Pliers. Number 3, very important, your strippers, wire strippers. Now, let me show you this because I have several pair. So I started with these here, and these are 10 gauge to 16 gauge wire. These here are 8 gauge to 16 gauge wire. So these are smaller. These are smaller ones. So these were my first set. Now I got rid of these. So when I get rid of tools, I make those home tools. So these are home tools. Then I went to this one. And when I was in residential, these Kleins, I really like these. I love the lifetime warranty on them. But what I really like about them is that if you're in residential and you're dealing with Romex, they have a 14-2 Romex stripper and a 12-2 Romex stripper. So you can take your Romex, you can strip, you can pop the coating, the sheathing, without cutting the wire, and it comes right off. So these are excellent for residential. Now, they also got your 632 and your 832 cutters in here. So if you have 632 screws or 832 screws, you can put them in there. You can cut those screws if they're too long. So these were my favorite. And they got the little hook where you can hook the wire. Make your hooks for your receptacles. These were my favorite. But just recently, I picked these up. These Klein strippers. Let me tell you why I like these. They are very heavy duty. They have a side cutter right here that's way more durable than these. They have a really good strip. They go from 6 gauge up to, I think these go to 18 gauge wire, which is like speaker wire. But why I like these is because the job that I do with my linemen's, I can do with these because these have a heavy duty, larger, flat head on them. So a lot of times, if it's more than a few wires, I carry my linemen's everywhere because you need those. But if it's more than a few wires, I'll twist with my lineman. But if it's a few wires, few smaller gauge wires, I can strip and then I can twist with these. So I suggest these. So you need you a pair of strippers if you're going to be an electrician. Okay, next we have, let's talk about screwdrivers. You need to get you a Klein. I'm going to say Klein. I love Klein screwdrivers because they come in sets. Now, this Klein screwdriver, this is a number 1. The one that you'll use the most is your number 2 Phillip head. Now, I have a number 2 that goes in my impact drill. So this is the number 2. I don't have my number 2 screwdriver here with me, but because somebody lifted it off me. But I do have a bunch of number 2 bits. So right now, I don't have one to show you, but this is a number 1. This one is a 3-inch number 1. You won't use this as much. This is for smaller screws. I've ran into light fixtures that I need to use with this one. These are the really small screws, but you need it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. You have your flathead. This is about a 6-inch flathead. You definitely need a flathead, a couple flatheads. My Klein set, I actually got in a pack. So it's like 2 of each screwdriver. I have a thicker one. All of these screwdrivers I have in thicker sizes. I didn't want to pull them all out, but I got this one in a real thick 3-inch. And then I got this is my 6-inch. I got this one in a 3-inch. And then I got a longer one that's a 6-inch. But you also need a number 2. Number 2 bit screwdriver is the one that you use on your receptacles, your 632s, your 832s. You'll use that one the most. But again, I keep a pack of bits, number 2s with me, and I use my drill. You also want to get you a set of nut drivers. You're going to use the heck out of 5/16 as an electrician. 5/16, you're going to use the heck out of. But Klein, they have these nut drivers in packs. You don't technically need those when you first start, but I mean, they're not expensive. You can get a set for under $20. I would definitely get it. Okay, number whatever. I forgot what number we on. I think we on number 4 or 5. And I'm not changing this. You really need you a pair of needle nose pliers. You need needle nose pliers. Needle nose pliers, they have side cutters on them. Some guys will use these to pull wire. They'll wrap the wire around just like the lineman. They'll put the wire around and pull. But these needle nose, they are good for when you got to get in tight spots. You need you a pair of needle nose. They have needle nose pliers that are 9 inches. I think these are 8 inches, 7.5 or something like that. But you need you a pair of needle nose because you don't know when you're going to have to get into a tight spot to grab a wire nut or something like that. Now, you have to be careful with sticking these in the box because they're metal. So it's a conductor. So you want to be very careful. But it's just some tight places as an electrician, you have to get in to pull. If you're pulling wire and you got a fish tape, you got to get in there to pull that fish tape. You want to use these needle nose. So you got to have those when you first start. Okay, a couple more things that you got to have when you first start. This is number 6. I believe so. Number 6. You want to get you a good level. I don't care if you are commercial or residential. A good level. I have one. This thing was like $15. It's an Empire. It has the magnets on it. I stick it to conduit. I stick it to metal framing. I stick it to anything metal because you need your hands free. Don't go buy a level that doesn't have a magnet or has a weak magnet. Spend $15 to $20. Get you a good magnet because it makes a difference when you put the box in and you put it on the box and you're 30 feet in the air or you're on a lift or you're 10 feet in the ceiling and it falls down. You got to come down off the ladder or bring the lift down to get it. Get you a good one. About $15 at Home Depot. Number, whatever is on the screen. Number, next. Most people wouldn't say you need this, but I'm going to say you need it. It is called a speed square. We call it a speed square. I don't know the proper name. This is so you can draw straight lines. You need this, man. This has saved my life. And what I like to do, I'll take, if I'm putting in 2 boxes, I'll take my speed square, I'll sit my level on top of it, and then I'll draw my line under the bottom. Or I'll measure on a metal stud, I'll make a mark, then I'll take my speed square, put it there, and then I can make my line straight across so I know where I'm putting my box straight across. Speed squares are beautiful. It helps you draw straight lines because there's nothing worse than cutting something and it's in a straight line, but the line is at an angle. So you're on the line, but the line is crooked. Speed square. When I first started, I had a blue plastic one. It was $2. This one is my granddad's. He passed away, and this one is 16 years old. But look at that thing. It's still beautiful. You need a speed square. Okay, next thing you need. Residential or commercial. Get you a good keyhole saw, man. This is number somewhere up here. I got this for like $15. Residential, I use it all day. It's sharp. Spend the money and get a good one. You spend the money and you get the good tools. they save you in the long run because you don't have to replace them as often, and they work. A good keyhole saw, might call it a drywall saw. It's a keyhole saw. You just put it in, you jab, or a jab saw. You jab just a little bit and you go to work. But I got something I use even better than this because I use an oscillating tool, but you have to have this in your bag, whether you're cutting out ceiling, you're cutting out drywall, cutting boxes. Even in commercial electrical, we do cutting boxes, just like in residential. So we're cutting out those box holes. Okay, last three things you need. This is number whatever's in the corner. Number whatever is up there. You need a good, sturdy measuring tape. This one has a magnet on the end of it. Let me explain something to you. I use this for more than just measuring. I use it to pick up screws that I drop. I can put this on a stud. Look at this. Look how far this thing go out. I'm at 10 feet. It hasn't broke yet. 13 feet, 14 feet, and I'm on the wall. Look, I'm on the wall. 14 feet. Get you a nice tape measure, $25. Man, when you get a flimsy tape measure and you in the ceiling and you trying to measure 5 feet and that thing just breaking. This one, I love this one, this Klein one. I got this out of the electrical section at Home Depot. $25. And look, it's a magnet. Look at this. You definitely need this. And practice reading the measurements on it. You got to know how to divide it by your 16ths. Okay, number whatever is in the corner. See that? Some of you call this a box cutter. Some of you call this a razor. Some of you call this a knife. You need one. When you're cutting stuff open, you're cutting PVC. I'll score the PVC with this. I use this for a lot of stuff. Just don't use it to turn screws because it's going to look like this. Get the right tools for the job. These things you can pick up for about $5. This is your starter kit, by the way. I got these bags also from Amazon. These are Tough Built bags. I'm a Tough Built guy. So I got these bags, 3 of them for like $10. I keep all my bits in. Let me show you what else you need. What else you really need. And then this is number, and I'm going to put all these together. This is number whatever's in the corner. Commercial guys. This is called a reamer. When you cut pipe, you use this. It reams out the inside so the shards won't cut the wire that you're pulling. On the end of this is a number 2 square bit. Get you a number 2 square bit. That is what you use to open up panels. A lot of our connectors for conduit. It's Phillips, but it has the square. It's just a lot neater and a lot easier to use, this square bit. Get you a reamer. This one is one that goes in my drill, but they have reamer screwdrivers. I think I picked this thing up for $25, and I haven't looked back with this. Okay. Last but not least, this is just stuff to start with. This is number whatever. This right here is just a simple nut driver that goes in your impact wrench. Now, I'm only showing you one. These come in sets, 5/16, 7/8, 3/8, 5/8. But that 5/16, 7/16, you're going to use a lot. So get you a pack of these. They don't have to be the best brand to start off. But just know that when you spend the money, it's cheaper to buy the better brand up front. than it is to buy something just to get by and it don't work. So this really is my list, guys. These are things that I think you must have in order to at least start being effective on the job. These are all base tools. They're all base hand tools. So you might go on a job and you say, what do I need? They say, man, just bring your hand tools. These are hand tools. Your diagonals, your strippers, your needle nose, your linemans, your screwdrivers, your speed square, your measuring tape, your box cutter or whatever, your razor, whatever you call it, your reamer if you're in commercial. If you're in a commercial, they're going to start you off with pipe early. So you need a reamer. That's something, reamer, because you don't want to cut pipe and then put it in a connector because the shards will cut the wire when you're pulling it. So you got to ream that out. So again, guys, thank you for hanging in there with me. If you have any questions, put them below. These are tools that you need to get started. So if you're thinking about getting in a trade or you're in a trade, you need to, and you don't have all these, you need to be buying one every 2 weeks or every week, every time you get paid. And for those of you that are looking at coming into the trade, start buying them now. They have kits where you can get diagonal cutters, linemen pliers, all your screwdrivers, all your nut drivers, and that might be it. I could be mistaken. But they have little kits, Klein kits. So you want to get these. You want to make sure that you have all of these before you start. Because you don't want to be on the job borrowing a number 2 screwdriver. That's the most basic tool that you'll need, a number 2. Now they have all type of advanced tools, 11-in-1s. I don't have an 11-in-1 with me. I do have one. But 11-in-1 is good because on the edge of the 11-in-1, you have a 5/16. I think it's a 5/16. You have nut drivers. You got 2 size Phillips, 2 size flatheads. You have 2 size nut drivers. Those are cool. The only thing I didn't like about it is if you break the tip of a 11-in-1 flathead, you can't buy a tip that comes out. You have to buy a whole new screwdriver. So I really don't use it that much, but they do come in handy. But I just keep my pouch with me and I got everything I need in there. So again, thank you, man. Share this. If you know somebody that want to get in the trade, make sure they watch this. All of you guys that's in the trade, you're just starting to build your tools up, man. And I'll be back with part 2. Part 2, we'll be talking about either drills or we'll be talking about your electrical needs, like your meters, your plug testers. And that'll be a very short one because to start out, you don't really need that much stuff. But you want to be safe. So I'll see you back here shortly. So thanks for subscribing, man. Share this and recommend somebody. God bless.